The Galactic Unity Academy's recreational dome fell silent as the low, rumbling growl echoed across the crystalline floor. 23 cadets from 17 different species stood frozen, their various appendages locked mid-motion, optical organs wide with primal fear. At the center of the dome, a Vraxian cub no larger than a Terran wolf pup had bared its triple rows of serrated teeth at Cadet Chen, who was crouched on the ground with a hoverball in her hand. Commander Thiel's forearms twitched toward his weapon. The Vraxians were apex predators from a death world where everything larger than a microbe had evolved to hunt. Their cubs, even at 3 months old, possessed bite forces sufficient to crush Durast steel. Protocol demanded immediate intervention. One wrong move and the human would be. Chen growled back. The sound that emerged from her throat was guttural, aggressive, and utterly impossible. Humans weren't supposed to make sounds like that. They were Category 7 omnivores from a relatively peaceful world, known for their endurance and tool use, not predatory vocalizations. The Vraxian cub's ears flattened, its eyes widened. Then Sarah lawed a bright, delighted sound that shattered the tension like glass. She tossed the hoverball, and the cub pounced after it with an excited chirp, its previous aggression forgotten entirely. "Good boy, Razer. Who's a fierce little hunter?" "You are." "Yes, you are." Sarah computed, scratching behind the cub's auditory ridges as it returned with the ball clamped in its jaws. "Commander." Thakal's translator implant struggled with the bizarre mixture of predatory aggression and affectionate baby talk. Around the dome, Cadet slowly began to breathe again. "Cadet Chen." The call's voice carried across the dome with forced calm. "Please report to my office immediately." Just minutes later, Sarah stood before the commander's desk while he reviewed her file on a holographic display. Heiss expression unreadable. "You are aware," he began slowly, "that Razer is the offspring of Ambassador Vrathor?" "Yes, one of the most dangerous diplomats in the quadrant?" "Yes, sir." "And you are aware that Vraxian cubs establish dominance through aggressive displays?" "Yes, sir." "Then please explain why you responded to a threat display with your own threat display rather than following the 27 protocols designed to prevent interspecies incidents." Sarah shifted her weight. "With respect, sir, those protocols don't work with Vraxians. They're predators. They understand strength and hierarchy. If I'd backed down or called for help, Razer would have learned that humans are prey. But by growling back and standing my ground, I established that humans aren't afraid of them. We're peers." The cow's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement or exasperation. "That is an extremely dangerous assumption, Cadet. You could have been seriously injured." "Could have been, sir, but I wasn't." Sarah's expression remained respectful but firm. "I grew up with dogs on Earth. Big dogs, working breeds. The principle is the same. Establish boundaries, show confidence, and they respect you. Show fear, and they'll exploit it. Vraxians are not Terran canines. No, sir. They're more dangerous, more intelligent, and more socially complex. But the fundamental principle holds true. They're pack predators. They understand hierarchy." Before Thakal could respond, the door chimed. Ambassador Vrathor entered, nearly 3 crew of scaled muscle and predatory grace. Most species instinctively retreated from a full-grown Vraxian. Sarah Chen stood her ground. Commander Vrathor's voice was a deep rumble. "I came to apologize for my offspring's behavior and to ensure your cadet was unharmed." "She is unharmed. Ambassador, we were just discussing." I watched the security footage. Vrathor's lips pulled back, revealing rows of teeth that could bisect a human torso. On any other species, it would have been a threat display. On a Vraxian, Sarah recognized it as a smile. Remarkable. In 3 months at this academy, 17 species have interacted with Razer. All followed your protocols. All treated him like a bomb waiting to explode. Do you know what that teaches a young Vraxian? That other species fear him? Sarah offered quietly. Precisely. Vrathor's massive head swung toward her. You are the first to treat him as an equal. The first to challenge him. The first to play with him as another predator would. Do you understand the significance? I think so, Ambassador. When Razer reaches maturity, he will remember the species that cowed and the species that growled back. He will remember which species treated him as a thinking being rather than a monster. Vrathor turned to the cool. Humans are stranger than we believed, Commander. We assumed they reached their position through endurance and persistence alone. But this one, he gestured towards Sarah. She has the heart of a hunter. I'm really not that special, Ambassador, Sarah protested. Any human who grew up with animals would have done the same thing. Any human. Vrathor's tone was skeptical. Well, most humans. We're pack animals too, sir. We understand loyalty, hierarchy, and play. We've been living alongside other predators for thousands of years. Wolves, big cats, bears. We learn to read them, communicate with them, even befriend them. It's not magic. It's just experience. The KL's translator made a sound suspiciously like a sigh. Let me understand this correctly. Humans, Category 7 omnivores from a Class 3 world regularly cohabitate with apex predators. We call them pets, sir. Pets, the call repeated flatly. Some of them, yes. Others we call wildlife, and we observe them, study them, sometimes help conserve them. We're fascinated by predators. Always have been. Vrathor's law was a sound like thunder rolling across mountains. The galaxy fears us, little human, but your species befriend screechers like us for entertainment, not just entertainment, Ambassador, companionship, protection, mutual respect. My family's German Shepherd was my best friend growing up. She would have died to protect me, and I would have done the same for her. Extraordinary, Vrathor murmured. Commander, I request that Cadet Chen be assigned as Razer's primary handler during our stay. Ambassador, I'm not sure it is decided. My offspring needs to learn what strength truly means, and this human can teach him. Vrathor's eyes fixed on Sarah. You'll continue to treat him as an equal. Yes. No coddling. No fear, Sarah grinned. Absolutely, Ambassador. Though I might teach him fetch and maybe rollover. The sound Vrathor made might have been horror or laughter. With Vraxians, it was sometimes hard to tell. As Sarah left the office, she could hear Thackle muttering about updating the Academy's protocols. Again, behind her, a small Vraxian cub waited at the dome entrance, hoverball in mouth, tail wagging with anticipation. Sarah growled playfully, Razer growled back, and somewhere in the vast, complicated galaxy, two predator species found common ground in the simple joy of play.